Have you ever walked into a room full of people and felt like you didn't belong? Not because anyone said anything, but because something deeper inside you whispered, "This isn't it." You smile, you nod, you talk. But inside, there's a quiet distance, like you're watching everything happen through glass. This isn't just social awkwardness. It's not shyness. It's the invisible weight of perception, the hidden cost of seeing too much. When you begin to see the world clearly, to really see it, things start to fall apart in subtle, uncomfortable ways. You notice the forced laughter in conversations, the emptiness behind polite greetings, the scripted lives people live, as if someone handed them a role and said, "Play this until you die." And while everyone else seems content to go along with it, you can't unsee it. You see the contradiction in people's values. You see the fear disguised as ambition. You see how pain is hidden behind expensive smiles. You see how loneliness is masked by endless scrolling. And suddenly, you don't fit in. Not because you're broken, but because your vision is intact. People say ignorance is bliss, and maybe there's some truth in that. Because the more aware you become, the more alien the world can feel. You become a stranger to small talk, to trends, to shallow distractions. You long for conversations that don't feel like performances, for silence that doesn't feel like discomfort, for connection that doesn't depend on pretending. But most people aren't ready to go that deep. And so you feel like a foreigner in your own life, like a traveler who took a wrong turn into a play you didn't audition for. There's a term in psychology, derealization. It's that strange feeling when the world starts to seem unreal, like a movie set, like everyone is just going through the motions. But sometimes it's not a disorder. Sometimes it's clarity, a side effect of waking up. When you start to question what everyone else accepts, you begin to drift, not out of arrogance, but out of honesty. This path isn't glamorous. No one claps for the outsider. No one celebrates the one who sees through the game. You might be called cynical, too intense, hard to be around. But here's the truth they don't tell you. Seeing clearly is lonely at first, but it's the only path that leads to something real. Because once you stop fitting into the world, you can begin to shape one that fits you. There's a kind of freedom that comes with not belonging. When you're no longer trapped in appearances, you start listening to something quieter, deeper, yourself. You begin to build relationships based on truth, not image. You create a life around what matters, not what's expected. You stop chasing noise and start embracing the stillness. And eventually, you find others. People who also stepped away from the illusion, who also chose to see. You recognize each other, not through words, but through the weight you carry and the silence you're not afraid of. So if you feel like you don't belong, maybe you were never meant to. Maybe your mind wasn't made to obey, but to observe, to question, to reveal. Maybe you're not lost. You're just early. And one day, when the fog lifts for others, they'll find you on the other side of the noise, waiting, quiet, still watching. And they'll understand why you left, why you saw, why you couldn't stay blind. And finally, you won't feel so out of place anymore. And finally, you won't feel so out of place anymore. But until that day comes, you'll need strength. The kind that doesn't roar, but quietly endures. Because walking this path means choosing truth over comfort, stillness over noise, meaning over belonging. You will have nights where you question everything, your choices, your mind, your heart. You'll wonder if maybe you should have just stayed asleep like everyone else. But don't shrink back. There's a reason your eyes opened. There's a reason you feel what others ignore. You are not too sensitive, not too strange, not too much. You're just awake in a world that's still dreaming, and the world needs people like you, even if it doesn't know it yet.
If this made you pause, if you're drawn to deeper truths and quiet strength, then you're in the right place. Like, subscribe, and keep exploring with us. See you in the next one.